Hello guys, welcome back to yet another video. It's time for us to talk a little bit about layers. The reason for that is that I got a new jacket, so I feel that my Keb layer collection is complete. This is the Keb padded hoodie. We're gonna do a video about that, but I also want to mention a little bit just about layers and how to use them and how not to use them. All right, let's get into it. So we're gonna do this pretty quick because, like I mentioned, it's really cold outside, and we're already cold because we're standing still for a little bit. This is the short sleeve Keb wool shirt. This is obviously a great base layer for summer treks or when it's warmer. When it's really warm, I would actually go with synthetics. We're talking 25-30 degrees maybe when it's, like I said, when it's really warm. But other than that, this is a great t-shirt. I really appreciate it. The great thing about wool is that it drives away humidity pretty fast, dries out quickly, doesn't smell that bad after a couple of days in the wild, which is great. The one that I'm wearing now is the long sleeve version of the same type of shirt. One thing you can do if you just want to add a small layer is obviously to just simply put this one above your long sleeve, and then all of a sudden you got another piece of layer on you. This will not keep you super duper warm, but it still does something. Next up, you got your sort of thicker mid layer. This is the Keb fleece hoodie, maybe even. Even on a cold day like this, let me put my cap. Even on a cold day like this, if I'm out trekking for a longer distance, or if I'm moving, this would probably be the maximum amount of clothes that I would be wearing. I would put a shell over here just to protect me from wind and rain, but underneath the shell, this is absolute max, because once I start moving, I'm carrying a heavy pack. This is pretty heavy, this is pretty warm. Most likely I would take this one off and just go with the wool base layer and then the outer shell. But let's continue and add on some more layers just to see how we can keep warm. Obviously you can go up with this one like this, cover yourself. I usually get some questions, so I thought I'd be prepared this time. I am 181 centimeters tall. I am put on some muscle weight now, so I'll say 77 kilos or something, 76, 75 maybe. It's something like that, I don't know. You're wondering about sizes. Most of these, the upper body things I got, they are in size M, just so you know how they would fit on you. Again, 181, 76 or something, pure muscle. You're stopping for a break and it's not that cold outside. This is where the Keb padded hoodie come in. This is synthetic, so it's made from, I think it says down here, it's G-Loft Supreme. It's a little bit thicker, it's padded, it's a bit of a jacket, but the interesting thing about this one is that it's meant to be used as, again, a thicker mid-layer. You can use it just like a standalone as well. This is, again, pretty warm, and I would always add my favorite piece of clothing that you guys know by now, the Keb Echo Shell, along with the Bergtagen Echo Shell as well. This will protect you from the elements in forms of rain and wind and all those sort of things, and this will also keep the heat in if you close it up real good. I would not walk around like this unless it's really cold and I'm not doing anything demanding where I will start to sweat, because yeah, it will get really warm, of course. But if I'm staying or stopping for some time, stopping for the night, and we're going to do some work in the camp, this is maybe what I would put on for that sort of situation. But again, when I'm walking, just a thin layer. It's okay to start out a little bit cold, because like I mentioned, once you start moving, it will get warm. And then of course, like you see, I put on the cap. I also have the Let's see where I can find it. Yeah, here, the buff. This is a great way to just fix those sort of small leaking details, where you can cover yourself up like this, or use the cap again. Protect your neck if it's really cold outside. Close it up. And then of course, same principle goes with your hands. Really important to take care of your hands. So you got a thinner sort of base layer. This is also in wool. It's our Hestra merino wool liner, I think. Great piece of kit, especially if you're fiddling around with cameras and so on. We made a review about these ones as well. You can check that out. And then of course, same goes with your hands. You got a next pair. This is the felt guide glove. This is also based on layers, so you got the outer shell sort of layer, and then there's another wool layer in here. So everything is made from that principle, that you put layer on layer depending on what you're gonna do and how warm you intend to stay. All right, this is pretty much all you need for surviving one day, if it's on the plus side of things when you're outside. I don't know about Fahrenheit or Celsius, but yeah, plus degrees. And then of course, the small details where you can put your gloves on, layers, hat, cap, the buff, and then of course a pair of long johns underneath your normal pants. I don't have anything on now, that's why you got ventilation on the side here as well, so you can open up and let out some excess heat. But again, if I'm stopping for the night or getting in my sleeping bag, and if it's a little bit chilly outside, I would put on a pair of long johns, or change all my clothes that I've been wearing all day in case they're wet or damp. So I've changed into a pair of new clothes when I'm going to sleep. But I would probably change maybe even the cap if it's wet, keep the buff, and then just use that during the night again to stay warm. Probably keep the liners on as well. Then if it's really cold, extremely cold, expedition type cold, then got a new thing that I want to show you guys. There we go. And the way this one is built is that it's pretty much two down jackets placed on top of each other, pretty much. So it's not that complicated, but it is extremely warm. And yeah, this is just a short run through of layers and the layer principle. There's of course a lot more detail to it, and all of this depends on where you are, what type of activities you intend to do, and the ability to understand when to change into the different types of layers. I see a lot of people starting out cold, and they wear a lot, and then they walk for maybe, I don't know, 10 minutes, and then they are sweating, and that's dangerous. So you want to start out a little bit cold, and then once you start moving, believe me, you will get warm. There's plenty of things you can do to get warm. So start out a little bit cold. I think that's a great tip. And then once you're stopping for the night and you're not moving, then just add on layers as the night progresses and it gets colder. Same goes with your or for your feet. You start with a thin liner pair that will drive the moist away. This is obviously a little bit thicker wool that will also drive the moist away. It will also provide some cushioning for if you're walking for long distances. Then there's even a thicker pair that I was supposed to bring, but I didn't. Swedish, they're called ragsocka. It's really good stuff. They're really thick as well. Really nice to sleep in, to keep your feet warm. So yeah, but again, same principle there on all your limbs. You can use the layer principle. So I hope this video provided a good explanation of that. When you're in town, you see people with a jacket like that, really big one, and then you just got a t-shirt underneath, and that's one way to do it. But if you're going out into the wild, it's better to have layers where you can adapt. That's the whole point. So you can take on and off depending on what you're going to do.